Hello, I'm your Kingdom Spiritual Transformational and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor Latricia Booker here with Kingdom Business. Kingdom people, I am here to do a pop-up beat word message. Yeah. So Kingdom people, it may have set you back, but God was setting you up. You think it was a setback, but God was setting you up, Kingdom people. It may have been a setback, but God was really setting you up. So we got a couple of scenarios going on here. First of all, this morning I was reading something and it was talking about a young lady who had done some great things. Well, she's my elder, but a young lady nonetheless. She had done some awesome things just within the business world, within the community, and it was just speaking on how she held all these different positions throughout her life. And it was doing something to me. The name of the positions, like director, CEO, and just different things that she did. And it was doing something to my spirit. It was stirring something up in me. And I was just so amazed at how, the significance and the greatness of the things that she had done. And people like her. And so I thought about how throughout my earlier part of my years, or the half part of my life, should I say, I didn't really hold no high honored positions. Not that I was trying to, but I've always been attracted to them. They always spoke to me. Certain kind of positions, I'm gonna say leadership positions, kind of leadership things. And in fact, the book is on leadership. And so anyhow, Kingdom people, it was doing something to me. And so God just started speaking to me again, but he just started showing me how I was going into certain places, which I already know. Kingdom people, many of you are going to certain places. God is taking you into high places, into high positions. No, it's not about status. No, it's not about, it's not about the status or the position, but it's about the work that God has for you to do. But they come with certain titles, and there are high honored titles. And Kingdom people, you are walking into these things. And so Kingdom people, some of you may not have never had those kind of positions and titles. You may have done some things. You could have been supervisor, managers, or whatever. Some of you may have held those kind of positions and titles. And so Kingdom people, the point here is God will start speaking to me about how he's taking his kingdom people higher, into higher places, doing higher things, holding high honored positions and titles to do his work for the kingdom. And so what it kind of made me think about was how God for some time had been speaking to me and just reassuring me that nothing has been lost. In other words, it took me personally a while. It's like this. I'm just not getting started with my life, for real, into the things of God. Not that I hadn't already been on that, but it's moving more into purpose. Many of you are moving into purpose. God, I keep hearing high honor positions. And so Kingdom people, God is moving many of you into high honor positions. And for the wherever you at in your life, for years, God had been training you, molding you, teaching you, all those kind of things. Maybe it was not the time for you yet. But God knew what he was doing. And maybe some things happened in your life where you felt like it was a setback, or you couldn't do this because of this, or you had this opportunity, you missed it, or something like that. But God is saying, you may think it was a setback. It may have been a setback, but God is saying that it was a setup. He was setting you up. Then today I was helping my daughter. I was listening in on a live session she had for her class, for her class. And the instructor constantly every week is always speaking to people about making up their work or getting their work in by this time, late work. And so it kind of irritated me a little bit. And I'm like, see, that I said, I don't want to say patience to do that, to be an instructor. I said, but I don't have that tolerance. And I was speaking in terms of, I bypassed, being a college professor. I looked into it at one point, even being a school teacher, grammar school and high school, but that's a little different. Let me just stick to college, because these are adult people, supposed to be. And what was happening was the instructor always had to like really talk to them and talk about how they need to get this in and get that in. And I was so tripped out, because I'm like, why is there so many people having work that's not turned in from the week before and the week before that was due the week before and the week before that? And so it was just aggravating a little bit. And they do this all the time. So my thinking was, that's part of why what came over me literally was, that's part of why I bypassed, and things just didn't work out quite the way for me to be that kind of an instructor, a traditional instructor. Because part of what happens is, that's part of what they have to do, because they have to get these students passed so they can keep their accreditation, so their schools can stay open. I mean, if you got a whole bunch of people failing, that means you're not doing a good job. So part of their job and what they have to do is make sure people are getting their things in. So they constantly hounding people. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't need a little push or encouragement or whatever, but to me, when you sign up for something like that and you're an adult, be responsible, take care of your business. So my point is, it aggravated me, but God was just showing me how I bypassed those things, because God said he had something else for me. Even though being a college professor is awesome, is great. Shouts out to all my college professors. I love y'all. I had some awesome college professors. I had one that was horrible. Just one, which is good. I had one horrible college professor. I had a few that was all right. They weren't all that great, but they was cool. But one that was horrible. I appreciate all you college professors. Thanks. But this part of y'all job, if y'all do this, it's not for me. So the point is this: God was showing me how he had great positions of high honor set aside for me. He said, you didn't miss anything. Not that I thought I did, but he was just recurring all this, bringing all this back to my remembrance and showing me how I couldn't be doing that, because I don't have the tolerance to do that. Not patience, because I'm not trying to have patience for that, but you have to have the patience and be able to do that, because that's just, I believe, part of their job. Part of what they feel like they need to do to get the students passed. Again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a little push and a little encouragement, but this is what you sign up for. Anyhow, kingdom people, some things you think was a setback, some things you think you missed, some things you feel like passed you by. Listen, it was all a setup. God was setting you up for what he has for you, because he has something so great for you. He was training you for his purpose. Now, there's nothing wrong with going through those places and having those kind of titles and positions. I'm not saying that at all. If that's the path that God has for you, so be it. What I'm saying here, kingdom people, if some of you feel like you have not made it in that kind of a way, if it's something that's in you, in other words, something that you're driven in that way, and God has shown you things like that, and you're attracted to things like that, it's because God was molding you for his purpose. And so a lot of it is, he didn't want you to get caught up in the things of the world. That's a lot of it. Because when you out there in listen, okay, he was molding you in his way for his purpose. But he has positions of high honor for you, for his purpose, for his glory. So kingdom people, it wasn't a setback. And even if it was a setback, because God was setting you up. He was setting you up for greater purpose. He was setting you up for positions of high honor for him, for his kingdom. I'm here for his kingdom work. So kingdom people, you didn't miss out. As long as you're working with God and walking with God and he leading you and guiding you, it was not a setup. And even if it was a setback, and it was a setup, it wasn't a setback. And even if it was a setback and you feel like you experienced setbacks, kingdom people, God was setting you up for something greater that he has for you. I was reminded also too, I'm constantly hearing stuff like this. God might mention certain things to me, make me aware of certain people and what's going on, or I might hear it. I might hear someone else speaking on it. As of lately, this has been happening. And this is the thing that God been saying how people are shocked that you are where you are, kingdom people, or that you're doing what you're doing. Some people thought that you would stay where you were forever. Like if you had struggles, if you having struggles now, if you're having a hard time, kingdom people, that's part of life. Many people that go on to do great things struggled at one point. They had some people had traumatic lives. That's what's trying to come out of my mouth. Many of us have had some trauma. Many of us have had some trauma. That's part of life, but you can overcome. So some people may have been looking at you where you were, thinking you were going to stay there forever. And it's like, no. Everybody has to walk through something. Even the greatest of the greatest walk through something. And they got to where they are. I was reminded, I keep getting Walmart. Even in business, Walmart, and I use Walmart because we know them. We know Walmart. Great, awesome company. Kingdom people, they didn't start to be this big. They started small. I'm reminded of Steve Jobs. Ain't that his name? Yeah, Steve Jobs. May his soul rest in peace. The point is, kingdom people, we know how big Steve Jobs was, the great things he did. And he started, along with a couple of his homies, in a garage. Same thing with Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble started in their garage, making candles. And they're big. They have all kind of products that we go in the store every day and buy. Well, we don't go in the store every day and buy, but somebody buying it just about pretty much every day somewhere in this world. So, kingdom people, you have to start from somewhere. And the thing is, kingdom people, some people looked at you and thought you were going to stay there. Maybe some were hoping you would stay there. Maybe some were trying to keep you stuck, staying there. Y'all know them ones that didn't want you to prosper. Them ones. But, kingdom people, many of you wasn't looking at where you were because you was looking at the vision that God was showing you. And so here it is. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So, kingdom people, what you're looking at right now, what they looking at right now, what they was looking at back then was temporary. Temporary. I just heard temporary inconvenience for permanent improvement. Shout out to you, Donald Lawrence. Listen, we ain't looking at where we at. Back then, we wasn't looking at where we at. We was looking at it enough to figure out how to get out of it. But we had the faith. And even right now, for some of you, still having the faith, still pushing, still coming up out of some situations. But you know you're going to get through. And if you don't know, and if you didn't know, then now you know. But you have to not look at what you see, but look at what you don't see, because what you see is subject to change. It's temporary because God is taking you into where he's taking you. Kingdom people, it was a setback. Maybe it wasn't. But even if it was, it was really a setup. God was really setting you up for where he's taking you. And it says here, for look at the things which are seen. But look at the things which are seen because they are eternal. So where God is taking you is eternal. And I ain't talking about heaven when you pass and make your transition. Yeah, that too. But he finna take you through the heavens. I just heard he's opening up the heavens. The heavens are wide open and falling down blessings on you. But he's allowing you to experience heaven right here on earth. And it will be eternal. You will continue to experience heaven. Because you're going to experience here on earth. And you're going to continue on in the heavenly realms. Kingdom people. So kingdom people, it may have set you back. It may have. You may have had a setback. You may have had a temporary setback. You may have missed some opportunities. It may seem like a setback. Some of it wasn't no real setback. It was a setup. Kingdom people, God was setting you up. So kingdom people, it may have set you back. Maybe not. But it was all a setup. God was setting you up for greatness. For where and what he has for you. Not for what the world has for you. Not for what the devil has for you. Not for what them ones that don't want you to prosper has for you. But for what he has for you, kingdom people. It may have set you back, but it was a setup. Okay, kingdom people? Okay. So, kingdom people, that is what I have for you. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Share the video. And so, yeah, kingdom people, you all know I don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. But I will be back to hold my kingdom people down. I love you all so much. I want to say so many. I love so many of you. I love all of you, kingdom people. I love you all so very much. I really appreciate you being here with me. Kingdom people, that is my time. I'm rushing because I got to go. Jesus girl is out. Peace.